talking about this article from Politico and having these little seedlings come down to Earth from a mothership. Here we go.
All right, so get this. We're diving into a theory that's, it's raising a few eyebrows, to say the least. We're talking, and I can't believe I'm saying this, alien probes. Like, right now, potentially.
Can y'all hear this? Let me know in the chat.
System.
And what gets me is this isn't just, some conspiracy theory you'd hear whispered at a UFO convention. This is coming from a paper. And hold on to your hats. It's co-authored by Sean Kirkpatrick, the head of the Pentagon's UFO office, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO for short, and the other author, Avi Loeb, a Harvard professor no less. We're talking heavy hitters in science and intelligence, so that makes this whole thing, well, let's just say it's piqued my interest.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see a Pentagon official just casually tossing around the term alien probes every day.
Oh, I'm going to pause it right there. I gotta, for those who are watching on all the other platforms, Krim just said, bro, it's Tesla's robots. Krim, I'm telling you, this is scary fucking shit. Like, where we're heading right now with artificial intelligence is absolutely fucking insane. We're going to continue listening to this because it's piquing my interest. And like, the way the Notebook grabs and starts the conversation, it actually pulls you in too. It's scary fucking good. It really is. So give me 1 second here. Let's go back to the this podcast that literally just generated.
So for our listeners who haven't heard about this, break it down for us. What's the core of this theory?
In a nutshell, they're suggesting that some of these unexplained objects, those UAPs, which is the government's preferred term for UFOs, they might actually be, get this, small probes. And here's the kicker.
At least they're not anal probes.
These probes are possibly sent out by a much larger alien mothership.
Okay, now you're just messing with me, right? This sounds like something straight out of Star Trek.
It's funny you say that. The analogy they use in the paper is actually, well, imagine a dandelion. Floating on the wind, and those little seeds are scattering everywhere.
Okay, I'm with you.
So picture that dandelion as a massive alien vessel. And those seeds, those are the probes, sent out to, well, study us.
Hold on. So instead of little green men landing on the White House lawn, we've got these tiny little robots, like, silently watching our every move. I mean, that's fascinating, sure, but also kind of creepy, don't you think? It's both, isn't it?
And the paper really gets into the nitty-gritty of how this would even be possible. They talk about these probes potentially using things like starlight, even water.
I'm going to pause real quick. Did it literally just sound like they added a third person to that podcast real quick? I thought I heard a change in the tone of the voice.
Seems consistent.
The same consistency? Okay. All right, I'm going to continue.
As fuel. This would allow them to travel these incredible distances without needing those bulky propulsion systems we're stuck with.
Wait, starlight? As fuel? Okay, you've officially lost me. How does that even work? With our current understanding of physics, I mean, is that even remotely possible?
It's a good question, and you've hit on one of the most mind-blowing parts of this whole thing. If, and it's a big if, but if these probes are using starlight for propulsion, it would mean they've got technology that's light years ahead of anything we can even imagine.
Okay, so maybe those late-night radio folks are onto something after all.
We are!
Well, before we go full-blown X-Files here, it's important to remember that this is just a theory. The scientific community is, shall we say, divided.
I bet.
Some folks are calling it highly questionable. They want to see the evidence, the hard proof. And they have a point. We haven't exactly captured one of these probes and dissected it in a lab.
Fair enough. But you have to admit, the sheer audacity of this theory, it's captivating. And like you said, to have experts like Kirkpatrick and Loeb putting this forward, it really makes you wonder, what would be the purpose of these probes? Assuming they even exist, what are they looking for? What's the end game here?
It's like, imagine you're sending out, I don't know, scouts to a whole new planet, a place you've never been.
They're taking Biden back.
Wouldn't you want to learn everything you could, scope things out before you actually, made contact?
Yeah, that makes sense. So you're saying they're being cautious?
Exactly. I mean, look at how we approached Mars. We sent those rovers first.
Yeah.
Right, just to kind of get the lay of the land.
Right. So what are we talking about here with these probes? They're just snapping photos, taking some atmospheric readings, or are we thinking something a bit more intense?
Well, that's where the paper gets really interesting, and they bring back that dandelion analogy.
Oh boy, here we go.
Remember how we were saying those dandelion seeds? They carry the blueprint, the DNA, for a whole new plant.
Right, so you're saying
these probes, they might be designed to gather information about our planet. Like everything. Resources, yeah, but also life itself.
Okay, so not just postcards then, more like they're trying to build a whole library about Earth.
Exactly.
So what if they're trying to grow too, though? If their theory is correct, What if these dandelions are planting and we're going to have some type of new form of a plant that comes in that can really, number one, either A, what do you want to call it? Learn about us. Or number two, it's growing an alien life form that we don't know about. And next thing you know, we have a legit alien takeover instead of an illegal alien takeover.
It would be panspermia, right? Like
Yeah, you were
instead
talking
of
about that, the
meteors-
panspermia theory, yeah.
Instead of meteors crashing into Earth, it could be, other life forms just intentionally spreading their seed.
It's pretty fucking interesting. And for those who are just now tuning in, this is artificial intelligence that generated this little podcast thing that we're listening to now. It's from Notebook LM. It's made by Google. It's very intense. I could have sat there, and maybe we'll do it before the next show, is you can add in multiple sources. So I could have found multiple different articles, maybe even found the article of the person that wrote it, and I could have put in 5 to 6 other articles, and it would have taken probably about a half hour or so to generate. And it would have came up with this. This is why it's so enticing on why I did it. We're going to continue this and listen to what else they have to say.